Very good evening, one and all. I am Mr. Radhanath, Executive Director, Center for Adivasi Research and Development. Extend my warm greetings to all distinguished guests and audience across the globe who are presented in this virtual Rath Centenary Symposia of the great intellectual and psychologist of India, who is none other than Professor Radhanath Rath. The title of this symposia is Need of the Hour to Think Through Body and Mind, Psychology and Yoga. In order to celebrate the intellectualism of Professor Rath, we have with us Professor Srinivasulu NS, Professor of Law, National University of Judicial Sciences, Kolkata. Our chief guest, Professor Mahadev Joyaswal, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur. We have with us Professor Sangeeta Rath, former PG Council Chairperson, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack. We have with us Professor Ravindra Acharya, CIMR, AIMS, New Delhi. We have with us Dr. R.K. Biswal, Assistant Professor, NIT, Rourkela, and we have with us Professor Dr. B.C. Das, Assistant Professor of Education, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack. Before we start the formal session, I am going to present a brief overview on Professor Radhanath Rath. Professor Radhanath Rath, born in 1920, was an illustrious personality of modern India who distinguished himself as a pioneering researcher and professor of psychology in our country. He was one of the makers of contemporary psychology in India, a leader who stood tall among his peers and had the vision to shape the future of psychology in India. In many ways, a distinguished academic and institution builder, he held as a founder of the first department of psychology, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels in Odisha. He manifold research and study of psychology paved the way for the generation of scholars to explore new frontiers of discipline. Professor Rath was a prolific writer, fiction or non-fiction, autobiography or travels. Professor Rath's literary genius was equally strong and intense as was his contributions to psychology. As an educationist, researcher, and literature, unmatched by many of his contemporaries, he earned laurels for his state and the country from international circles of excellence in education. His tall, erect frame, gold-rimmed glasses, and intellectual exuberance very well fitted into the image of distinguished professor. As a nationally and internationally renowned professor of psychology, in the name of Professor Radhanath Rath, left for his heavenly abode. On 29th September 2014, at the age of 96, at his residence in Cuttack, Odisha, leaving behind a fully blossomed family and a host of students and ardent followers of his philosophy towards life. On behalf of God, now I'm requesting Professor Srinivasulu NS to chair over the meeting. Over to you, Professor Srinivas.
Thank you, Rudranarayan Das. Perhaps Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Odisha, on behalf of the organization and also on behalf of all the participants, I warmly welcome Professor Sangeeta Rath, who is today's main speaker on the topic Need of the Hour to Think Through Body and Mind, Psychology and Yoga. Of course, this program is organized in commemoration of birth centenary year of Professor Radhanath Rath, who is a celebrated psychologist who is a great academician, tall personality, who has, aftermath of his retirement, who has ventured into writing as well. And in commemoration of his birth centenary, the Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Odisha, has chosen, rather identified, none other than his own daughter, Professor Sangeeta Rath, to speak to us on this very important topic, need of the hour to think through body, mind, with reference to psychology and yoga. As a regular practitioner of yoga myself, I firmly believe that yoga is such kind of practice which is beyond exercise, which is more than exercise, which is more than meditation. It is a practice, or it is an art which brings body, mind, and soul together. Of course, there are certain scholars, there are certain thinkers who say that yoga is more about Hindus and Hinduism. I would like to remind those people that even in Islamic, the way they practice or do their namaz, the postures of namaz involve a particular type of yoga practice in itself. So yoga is not all about practicing Hinduism. It's about practicing that kind of art activity which brings body, mind, and soul together. I appreciate the Center for Adivasi Research and Development Odisha for choosing this kind of topic, as the center has been known for organizing symposiums on interdisciplinary, rather multidisciplinary areas. Though most focus of this center is about Adivasi empowerment, I would like to mention to one and all that yoga is, of course, a traditional practice, and more than anybody, our traditional people, Aboriginal people, ancient people know more about this practice, which is, as I mentioned, is an art to bring body, mind, and soul together. As a matter of fact, Center for Adivasi Research and Development has been doing phenomenal job in organizing around 200, more than 200 programs, symposiums, seminars, conclaves, and workshops like this by involving resource persons from across the globe. And I am very happy to be associated with the Center for Adivasi Research and Development, which is more or less renowned now across the globe, having brought scholars, speakers from more than 50 countries already in its span of less than 2 years of existence, the card itself. And today's program is going to be another feather in the cap of the Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Odisha. And of course, along with today's speaker, Professor Sangeeta Rath, who has been the postgraduate council chairperson in Rath University, Cuttack. We have Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, who is the director of IIM Sambalpur, who is today's chief guest. And of course, Professor Acharya is there, who is actually going to speak about this topic, need of the hour to think through body, mind, and psychology and yoga. We have also the rapporteur Biswal, who is an assistant professor in NIT, Roorkela, and Dr. Das, who is also from Rath University, Cuttack. So with the eminent scholars who are there on board today, I would like to say that today all the participants who are going to enjoy today's session, not only online and even other ways, because the program is also live on Zoom, Facebook, and all other social networking sites. It is going to be a very, very interesting talk that every one of us are going to enthrall, remember, and of course, take into our lives stride, because it's a topic which is required, which need to be known to one and all, irrespective of discipline they come from, irrespective of the faith religion that they believe in, because it's all about bringing your body, mind, and soul together. So yoga, in fact, nowadays, yoga is also contemplated in terms of intellectual property rights, because there are certain postures of yoga which have been patented, given protection in USA. There are certain practices or types of yoga which are going about commercialization with the admixture of some aerobics, some kind of push-ups and all that. But we believe that the traditional ancient yoga, probably the Raj Dharma yoga, whatever we have seen in our country, which has been given to us by our ancient people, aboriginal people, traditional people, which is a practice and art to bring our body, mind, and soul together. So with this introductory remarks, I would invite Professor Sangeeta Rath, former PG Council Chairperson, Revansha University, Cuttack, to speak about the program as an introductory remarks. Over to you, Professor Sangeeta Rath. Unmute Sangeeta Rath, Rudranarayan.
Sir, ma'am is not in the meeting.
Oh, acha. Okay, so then in that case, we'll invite the speaker to go about his talk. So madam can join later.
Sir, ma'am is joined now.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, please unmute. Ma'am, please unmute.
Yes.
Professor.
So I'm here. Now it's visible?
Yeah, you are visible, madam. Please go ahead.
Okay. I have been told to talk in Odia, but since most of the speakers are talking English, so I will be using English sentences more, and sometimes I will be talking in Odia.
No problem.
So Professor Radhanath Rathankara जन्म शतवार्षिकी अवसर सेंटर फॉर आदिवासी रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट एपरी गोटे सिम्पोजिया आयोजन करिथिबारु एवं मते किछि कहिबार सुयोग देइथिबारु एवं एते वक्ता एवं श्रोता मानक एभरी गोटे जगह सामिल करिथिबारु निज मो कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करबा सहित मो विक्रम जेना एवं एठारे सेंटर फॉर आदिवासी रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट समस्त को धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करूची. Mind and body. So mostly I will be talking English. I will tell you a story. There was a man whose name was Coligan. Coligan was a 76-year-old man. So he had problem with his right knee, and his doctor diagnosed it as arthritis. So it was very painful, and his doctor told that there is no treatment for the arthritis. But Coligan was not very happy, so he wanted to get cured. So he was referred to another doctor whose name was Dr. Musley. So Dr. Musley was a surgeon of national and international reputation. So Coligan went to Dr. Musley, and he sewed his knee. So somehow Coligan was very much impressed with Dr. Musley, because Dr. Musley was a renowned doctor, and at that and he was working in a very famous hospital. He was head of a team of surgeons. So Coligan was very much impressed. At that point of time, knee surgery was widely performed in USA, and Dr. Mosley had a doubt whether knee surgery is effective, or the expectation or belief that the knee surgery will be effective. That is actually is the cause of the improvement, or the real surgery is making any improvement. So what happened in this study, Dr. Mosley, he was not only a surgeon, he was also a renowned researcher. So what happened in this study, Dr. Mosley divided the participants into two halves. One group of participants received surgical intervention or surgical treatment. Other half received anesthesia, and there was slight surgical lesion to their knee, but no treatment. So Coligan was in the second group. There was no treatment, there was no surgical intervention, only a fake or a sham treatment was provided to Coligan. But interestingly, after this SAM treatment, after this fake treatment, Koligan reported that he is completely cured. He gave all the credit to Dr. Musle. And whenever he sees Dr. Musle on the TV, he calls his wife and he tells, here is the doctor who fixed my knees. He just did wonder to my knees. So here, Colligan's experience as a patient is very, very common. Here, the most important thing is that Colligan's expectation or Colligan's belief. So our expectation of or our belief enhances the effective of the treatment. We have similar experiences. Sometimes we suffer from flu, sometimes we suffer from cold, we have headache, we have fever. Suppose we must have similar type of experiences. Suppose we suffered from flu and we went to a doctor, and the doctor is a very renowned doctor, and we saw that he is coming in a very costly car, and he is working in a very reputed hospital. And then when we went to the doctor listened to us very carefully, and he empathizes with our problem, and he listens very carefully, and he appears very pleasant, very impressive. And then he says that nothing has happened to you, only this is a viral fever, and today is the 7th day, so from tomorrow you will be cured. So what happens? We feel so relaxed. 70% of the symptoms disappear immediately. So what is this? What is this effect? This effect is called placebo effect. People act according to their expectation. People act according to their belief. Placebo is an inactive substance, or placebo is an inactive treatment, but it appears to the patient as if he is receiving an active treatment. So what happens? It has been found in treatment, 60% is due to medical treatment and 40% is due to placebo. 40% of the improvement is due to placebo, 40% of the improvement is due to expectation or belief. So what happens? I'm citing all these examples just to prove, just to tell the audience that our expectation, our belief, attitude, lifestyle, cognition, thinking play a very important part in our health and illness. But till 1970s, our orientation towards health and illness were totally different. So earlier we were thinking that mind and body, they're separate entities. Mind is not capable of influencing the body, and body is not capable of influencing the mind. So they're interdependent. They're not interdependent. They function independently. So why we were believing like this? Because what happens in 1959, Darwin established his theory of evolution. He wrote his famous book, that is The Origin of the Species. So in this book, he tried to establish that we are all biological beings and we have only the biological entities. So the psychological aspects were completely neglected. So, and at that point of time, there was also development of microscopy medicine and autopsy medicine. It was proved that due to invention of the microscope, it was proved that the small organisms like the viruses and the bacteria are responsible for different types of diseases. So for almost 300 years, we believed we believe that we are biological beings, and psychological factors were not at all given in importance. We were under impression that mind and body, they operate differently. This is called biomedical model of medicine. So according to biomedical model of medicine, so human beings, when we suffer from any disease, so we believe that these diseases are caused by our genetic predispositions, or it is due to some defects in the anatomical structure, or it is due to some chemical reaction, or it is due to some exposure to viruses or bacteria. So what happens for 300 years, we have this type of orientation. So, the treatment was, when we think like this, so when the treatment was made in terms of chemotherapy or administration of drugs or giving vaccine, etc. But this orientation changed completely, because it was found if 100 people are infected by, suppose there is a measles virus, someone is suffering from measles, and if 100 people are exposed to that virus, only 10 people are suffering from measles. So it was found that there are some other factors which is actually affecting the, uh, which is responsible for the infection, not only the virus. So what happens, although this biomedical model governed the thinking of people for 300 years, but due to this shortcomings, and it was also realized that human beings are not only the biological entities, they're also the psychological, they have also a very powerful mind. So the psychological factors were given more importance, and this biomedical model was rejected. So in the last part of the 1970s, it was found by the psychologists and the medical professionals realized that psychological factors affect all aspects of our physical well-being. So psychologists proved that our attitude, behavior, cognition, thinking, belief, personality, lifestyle, they affect our physical well-being. So because of the close interdependence of mind and body, it is more and more clear, and it is more and more realized now that psychological factors and physical factors are intimately related. Mind and body, they not only interact, they influence each other. When we are happy, happy hormones get secreted. So when we are happy, there is more and more secretion of endorphins. When we are under stress, there is our immune system gets affected. When we are in love, a hormone called oxytocin gets more and more secreted. So mind is very important. If we are happy, then only we are okay. Our physical condition is good. If we are not happy, our physical condition is not good. When we are in a happy mood, there is a different type of chemical reaction. When we are in a depressed mode, the chemical reaction is completely different. So now it is more and more realized that psychological factors actually affect the physical condition. So mind is very important, and now we have understood the mind-body relationship in a different perspective. Not only that, nowadays we are giving more importance to the positive aspects of human functioning. Earlier, we were not giving that much importance, but now it is realized when we are happy, all the happy hormones get secreted and the immune system is protected, is secured. So what happens now, psychologists are giving too much importance on happiness. They feel that feeling happy is more important than not feeling unhappy. Earlier, when we are talking about mental health, we are thinking, or we are conceptualizing mental health in terms of absence of negative mental states. That means if there is absence of anxiety, if there is absence of depression, if there is absence of stress, that means we think that the person is having good mental health. But nowadays, psychologists think along with absence of depression, anxiety, and stress, there should be presence of positive mental health. That means there should be presence of happiness, there should be satisfaction, there should be a sense of competence, there should be a sense of trust, independence. These things are very, very important. So feeling happy is more important than not feeling sad. So now they're giving too much importance on the positive aspects of human being. And there is also a realization that this positive state is we have been conditioned this trait is a learned thing, and we can form habit. We can be conditioned. We can be socialized to be happy or not happy. Sometimes what happens, we have been socialized not to feel happy. In our society, when we are happy, our parents are always tell, don't be very happy, because you are wasting your time, and you have to do lot of things. So don't be very happy. You have to be very serious. So this happiness is a state of mind, and we should know how to regulate our state of mind. We should know how to control our state of mind. So we are giving too much importance on happiness. We are giving too much importance on the positive aspects of human being. So now in the context of Professor Rath's uh, birth centenary, I would like to tell that Professor Rath was so happy I don't know, he was so positive. So whatever he was planning, and he was able to do. So when if someone will ask, how are you? He never tells that I'm okay. He was always telling, I'm excellent. He was thinking, if we'll tell 100 times excellent, 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 we will also feel excellent. So we had a huge garden and there were so many flowers. If somebody tells that in the morning when he sees his flowers, he was always telling, if heaven is anywhere, it is here, here, and here. So just we are so many things, so many good things around us, but all the time we have the habit of perceiving only the negative things. We have so many positive things, so many good things, but we always perceive what is not with us. We never perceive what is with us. So nowadays gratitude therapy or gratitude is giving much importance. So Professor Rath was a kind of person who was always happy and who was always talking positive things. So he was full of life. And I would like to give one to more examples. So he always believed that nothing is destined. We can create our own destiny. And he believed that he can live for 100 years, and he also lived for 100 years. He lived for 98 years. And he was telling, so what happens? What he was always telling that nothing is destined. We can create our own destiny. We should never succumb to the situation. We must conquer the situation. And he was also telling that opportunities never come. We have to create opportunities. So I will give one more some examples. Professor Rath did his graduation and post graduation in philosophy. Psychology was not there at that point of time in different universities of India. So after completing his graduation and post graduation in philosophy, he did it in Patna University. When he came back, and he joined as a lecturer in philosophy in Ravencha College, but he was not very much happy with philosophy, and he thought that there is no future in philosophy. He was not very satisfied. So he had a dream that he would pursue higher education in psychology, and he will establish the Department of Psychology. So what happened? He was so much obsessed with this idea. So one day, at that point of time, some science professors were getting opportunity to go to the London University, and they were getting scholarship. So what happened? One day he could not sleep in the night. So one day he woke up and wrote a letter to the head of the Department Psychology, London University, to arrange a seat because he has a dream to pursue higher education in London University. And at that point of time, after Second World War, there was not much opportunities for the Indian students to get a seat in London University. But to his surprise, after a few days, the head of the Department of London University wrote a letter to him that there is a seat. He has kept a seat for him, and he can go and pursue his education in BA psychology, because at that point of time the Indian degrees were not very much recognized by in London University. So at that point of time, there was also advertisement by the government of India that there is some scholarship for the students of science and for education. Professor Rath, although didn't have any degree in science, although he wanted to pursue his A in psychology, but he applied for that, although there was no opportunity. So when the PSC chairman met him, he told that since there is no provision for psychologists and no psychology and no provision for philosophy, why did you apply? However, he was so impressed, and he wrote the government of India to make arrangement for a scholarship in psychology. He got the scholarship and he went to London University, did his PhD, and initially he was not allowed to do his PhD allowed to do his PhD because he was given only a seat in BA. But he wrote to the apex body and he wanted to pursue PhD. So the apex body, consisting of 3 professors, They told that he has to appear in an examination, and if he will perform very well in the examination, if he will, then only he will be allowed to pursue PhD. Otherwise, if he will fail in the examination, he will pursue BA. If he will somehow pass in the examination, he will pursue MA. He was given 3 months. He worked so hard. So within 3 months, he did very well, performed very well in the examination, and got the opportunity to pursue PhD. And he then, after completing PhD, he established the first department of psychology in Ravencha in 1953. And within 5 years, he established the first postgraduate department in psychology. And after 18 to 20 years, although there were big, very renowned universities like BHU, Delhi University, Bombay University, Madras University, but his department was the first department which was declared as a Center of Advanced Studies in Psychology and Research by the UGC. And then after that, his department became so renowned that they had a collaboration with different foreign universities. People from abroad came and joined in this university, professors, and they started doing research in this university. And he organized an international conference for cross-cultural psychology in the Department of Psychology, and almost 200 foreigners came and joined the international conference. So according to him, whatever he wanted to do, he could do because of hard work and persuasion. So nothing is destined. Only for his positivity, for positive thinking only, he could do. So I think Professor Rath is an example where he always practiced positivity, and because he was so positive, he also lived for 100 years. So I think I should not elaborate on this. I have spoken enough on this, and many thanks for having a patient hearing. So I think I would like to stop here.
Thank you, Professor Sangeeta Rath. And in fact, the belief, the life and practices of Professor Radhanath Rath are very interesting, and people, especially youngsters, they need to observe all these things in their way of lives, because certain thoughts of him that opportunities doesn't come, we have to create opportunity. Nothing is destined. We have to make our life. These are the practical aspects of life that we need to learn from very serious academicians like Professor Radhanath Rath. And of course, Professor Sangeeta Rath has brought those sincere thoughts of Professor Rath to this floor. And now with these introductory remarks by Professor Sangeeta Rath, now I would like to invite Professor Ravindra Acharya from IIMS New Delhi to give a memorial lecture for the day. Over to you, Professor Ravindra Acharya.
Namaste. Respected all these organizing committee members, and this my gratitude and my humble pranam to all the members present in this seminar, and my respect to Professor Radhanath Rath and all the members. This is the topics of this today is about the mind, body, mind, psychology, and yoga. The prospect of yoga is brought to this point. If we'll go through the other 3 points, like body, mind, and psychology, we think together all these things, I think maybe to one. I remember one thing of Swami Vivekananda quotation is very clear, that it's called each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within by controlling nature, internal and external. Do it by work, worship, philosophy, and psychic control, anyone or all of them together, and be free. As just before, Madam was talking for 2 points, very interesting. That two things are, one is she was telling about the placebo, and another thing is the belief. These two words, it's very catching word. And if you know that there is a very good book on biology of belief. A professor in the Harvard University, Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton has written a very good book, and you can go through it, you can enjoy it. It is a professor, Harvard School of Medicine, and he has got a good number of books, but very interesting this book, The Biology of Belief. So what you believe, it depends upon your biology. The similar things, and she was talking about the your placebo. And another one author has written a very nice book, Dr. Joy Dispenza, who is a neurologist from US. And his book is called You Are the Placebo, the Mind Over the Matter. And Dr. Joy Dispenza, who is himself a neurologist and a chiropractor, and once he was cycling and hit by a car, went off, fell down, and 6 of his vertebrae completely broken, and he was in coma state. And when he came out from the coma state, and he find out that his whole the report that he is supposed to be in the coma state for the remaining of his life. He himself is a neurologist. He went through his all this information, medical information, and he got that he is supposed to be a paralytic, or he will go through the surgery. There is a probability to come back to normal life or on the wheelchair the whole life. Then Joe Dispenza, he took the decision and went for meditation for 2 years, allowed himself completely, and he came out by walking. And till now, he is a very good meditation practitioner. And if you go through a good number of books he has written, and very informative, and very scientific research also doing in neurology, neuroscience. A good number of research paper in Nature he published, and around 4 or 5 research papers he published in Nature, the high-end journals. It not be believed that how a person whose vertebra has broken and he come out with meditation, he has not gone through the surgery also. How it is possible? And it's a good number of research has done in this and meditation and the lifestyle management, how we can bring it. Today's topic is very interesting. It's called the body, the physical body. If you go through this, you can come to know the physical body is nothing. It is called the subconscious mind. And mind, psychology, and you call it yoga. As I told you in the beginning, most of us we believe that yoga means some changing the body movement only. But some clarification has come. A good number of people have aware. Thanks to the present Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, he brought into the yoga in the world platform. And we have a lot of knowledge on that. Of course, most of us also, we are doing practice on this. I belongs to Odisha, Balasore, but I am the professor Vivekananda Yoga University, Bangalore. At present, I am working in the headquarters here in Delhi branch, and also we are facilitating a center here in AIMS, Delhi, CIMR, Center of Integrated Research Center, yoga, because we requested to our doctors in AIMS, when we do research, we have published more than 1,200 research papers in our University, Bangalore. Then when I came 2015 to Bangalore, to Delhi, I request the director of AIMS, why not you start a center and do research on the field of yoga, so that the mainstream doctors, when they will do research on yoga, the people would believe it. People not believe it, you cannot say that only this yoga institute they are doing and it may be biased. So you go through it. And recently he has written Dr. Gautam Sharma, who is in charge of that center. He has published in the cardiovascular problem. He has published a paper in a high-end journal. So as you are telling that, most of us, we believe that yoga means some physical body postures, or after Ramdevji's popularity, we may think that is a pranayama. But as I told you before this, that Swami Vivekananda's quotation, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within by controlling nature, internal or external. Do it by work, worship, philosophy, psychic control, or any one or all of them together, and be free. That means each soul, each one of us, or each seed has a potentiality to become a tree. We should nurture the seed to manifest the actual form of a seed to become a tree. Similarly, each soul is potentially divine. We all of us is potentiality, all of our potentiality is divinity. So this divinity should be manifest. Otherwise, what is the meaning of this potentiality? Our potentiality is divine. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. Again, will be well remembered that this potentiality is not outside in a place where we do prayer, either a temple, mosque, church, or wherever. It is within. So each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity, and it is within by controlling the nature, internal and external. How to control the nature and internal and external? You can do it by work, means karma yoga. How to work? Karma yoga, work, worship, bhakti yoga. That means science of emotion culture. How I will culture my emotion, a science. So that is called the psychology where it's coming. And it's called the science of emotion culture. Through different surrender to God, is called bhakti yoga, psychic control, philosophy, and psychic control. Philosophy, that is called jnana yoga, psychic control through raja yoga. So what we are understanding at present is called asana, pranayama, kriya bandha mudra, or different yogic technique is called raja yoga. Do it by work, worship, philosophy, or psychic control. Philosophy, jnana yoga, reading the Shastra or Upanishad. So all these four, either any one or all of them together, integrated, and be free. Freedom is called divine, or moksha, or whatever we say in different terms. So mukti, moksha, or whatever. The freedom is the divine, and that is the potentiality of each and every individual, and that potentiality can be manifest by controlling nature, internal and external, and that can be possible by controlling the nature, internal and external, by work, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga. What at present time is very popular, the raja yoga, yoga asana, pranayama, or is called Ashtanga yoga. That means Ashtanga yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These are called the Ashtanga yoga or Raja yoga or psychic control or the path of willpower. There are the different four paths. Swami Vivekananda defined four paths. A path of action, and the path of intellect, philosophy, the path of psychic control or willpower, and the path of surrender or the bhakti. Through these four or all of the four together integrated, we can become free. So it is very clear, all of us, that what are the things supposed to do? It is a very, very essential how much we are doing to keep a good health or good mind, to do this practice of yoga, like yogasana or pranayama, that much of surrender to God or bhakti yoga, doing bhajan, japa and other things. The similar way to know the philosophy, and it is very much scientific, and to do this practice of the Jnana Yoga and Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is very much essential. So now the thing is, we should know that what are the things we have to do, our understanding, and what are the things we have to do it. As I told you, it's very popular now in West is one word, how you to manage your own personality. It's called psycho, neuro, immuno, physiology. Your physiology or your biology or your health or physical health, the physical body is depend upon the immunity. It's a very good, very popular word the last 2 years. I think in all the languages, everybody in any language, we know immunity. So it is so popular during the Corona time. The immunity is very much essential, that the physiology, then immunity, then it depends upon the neuro, your nervous system, and that depends upon your mind, psycho, neuro, immuno, physiology. The one end, the physiology or the physical body, and starting from the psycho, it depends upon your mind. What your physical body is depend upon your mind. What your mind, mano eva manushyanam karana bandham akshayoha. Mana eva manushyanam. Mana, mind is divine what you are, what I am, what we all of us. So it's depend upon your psychology, your mind, what type of thought we are thinking. So if you will go to this Shastra point of view, you'll find out the physical body is this Stula Sarira. If you go to the Sukshma Sarira, you can find out that it's called, in Shastra, it's called Stula Sarira, the 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, which one the sense of perception, you will get an information, they execute the Karmendriya and Pancha Prana, and each part of the body functioning, Pancha Prana, and another 4 is Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, Ahankara. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. Mana, the mind, Buddhi, intellect, Chitta, again it's called thought, Ahankara, I-ness, the ego. This 4 is called Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira and the Stula Sharira. What is our physiology or the physical body we look in the front? The Stula Sharira, it depends upon the Sukshma Sharira. How we'll manage our Sukshma Sharira. So we'll define it, how much my personality is depend upon me, myself. The physical body is a subconscious mind. How? So whatever I learn from the age I took birth till the age of 7, a sanskara build up, and it become my habit. Suppose you find out the whole personality, my mind is 100%. From there, we'll find out 95% is subconscious mind. So how much is conscious mind? Only 5% is subconscious mind. What is subconscious mind? Subconscious mind is instinctive. It has a program. Whatever we learn from the beginning of the life till the 7 to 15, 15 to 35, 35 till the end. After 35, it is difficult to change my personality because it's already programmed. I do as per the program from the day 1 of my birth till the 35. So what we supposed to do? When we think about the subconscious mind cannot think, it's only to do. Conscious mind can think but cannot do. So this is the peculiarity. How we will do, how I will change. Because if I get an information at the age of 50, 40 or 35, that this is good for me, but it is I have not implemented or I am not inhabited this quality in my life, how I will do. Because it is an information and from the conscious mind. Conscious mind can think, cannot do. Subconscious mind only to do but cannot think. So when I get an information, it will not able to execute. So how to execute it? So I have to do a continuous practice. If I'll do, I have a possibility after the age of 30 or 35, I can reprogram it. Whatever already programmed, I can reprogram. For example, suppose I do wake up in the morning at around 8 o'clock. But I get information, if I wake up at early in the morning, it will be very good. So I will try few days, I'll wake up at 5 o'clock. But after some time, again, I will not able to do it. How I wake up at 5 o'clock, somebody to wake up, or I have to wake up so that I wake up. But it's not continue if I will not continue properly these things. So how it happens? Suppose you say I will catch a flight at around 8 o'clock. So I have to wake up at 5 o'clock. So that the emergency mode, it will go and I'll wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock to wake up and I'll go to catch the flight. But I cannot make it in emergency mode all the time, my mind. So that's why if I want to change anything in my subconscious mind, suppose I wake up, do my brush, do my daily work, and most of my work is around 95% subconsciously, instinctively it will happen. Like all the animals have 100% subconscious mind. It is a programmed mind. But we have a power of this 5% conscious mind. What information I got and I can reprogram or I can change my subconscious mind. This conscious mind or whatever the information I will get, that I can do practice and I can reprogram my subconscious mind. I can change my personality. So that is the power of the 5% conscious mind, what we have already with me or all of us with us. So this conscious mind, here the Raja Yoga, the path of the willpower or called the psychic control. That is the power of the Yogasana, Pranayama, meditation. That much power it has to make the subconscious mind so strong so that I can bring the change of my subconscious mind. Conscious mind so strong, I can bring a change or can reprogram mind. For example, suppose most of us will go to the satsang to listen from a guru, a very good advice, and give a clap and smile that, yes, if I will implement this information or this advice, I can change my personality, but does not happen. Why? Because it is conscious mind I heard, but subconsciously it is already programmed. If I will not do continuously to do this practice. For example, suppose I will take a kotori, a place where I put a pot of a curd, dahi. I throw the curd and I want to put milk there. After a few times, it will become curd. Why? Because the curd pot I have not washed. If I throw the curd, again pour the milk will become curd. So what I supposed to do? I throw the curd, clean the pot, then I pour the milk will become milk. This is what is happening. Purification is very much necessary. That's what there is a quotation is called, without purification, meditation is called the hallucination. Without purification, meditation is called the hallucination. So if you not do the purification, if you not bring that continuous practice or cleaning, what is the cleaning? The physical body, the tattva suddhi, the mind cleaning, the mind, the prana, if all these things, different technique, what our Muni Rishi has given to us, if I not do practice it continuously and do the purification, then the potentiality, our divine, cannot be manifest. So it is very much necessary that we have to go through the purification process, and this all the four yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, it helps us a purification process, and then our personality can be manifestation to happen, easily can be happen. So that's what is very much necessary, that we have to do some of the practices of yoga, not very much popular, the part of yoga. I will go through this all the philosophy on yoga, like Patanjali Yoga Sutra. He says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti ko nirodh karne ka jo upay hai. The yoga is a technique to calm down the mind. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti nirodha, control the mind. If you go to the Bhagavad Gita, it says samatvam yoga uchyate, bringing the equanimous in the mind. So what is called the mind? Shastra says mind is sankalpa vikalpa. Mind is nothing, something is different, intelligent different. It is one part in the different role. The same thing. This mind, intellect is only one. There is no doubt at all. Buddhi. So mind is when there is a doubt, when you thought that what to do or not to do. So what is to do it is here is called, Bhagavad Gita says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, bringing the equanimous. Yoga Vasishtha Shastra says, Manaha Prasamana Upaya iti vidhyate yogaha. Manaha Prasamana Upaya. Yoga is a technique to calm down the mind. So if we'll go to this body, mind, psychology, and yoga. Yoga is a very powerful technique to bring a change, the way of thinking, so it means psychology, and through that we can bring the change of mind. As I told you, the two minds, and the conscious and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, our physical body, we do instinctively, most of our life, instinctively programmed our mind, our body, through the practice from the beginning of our life. So that can be reprogrammed through the conscious mind. As we know, all of us, that the prefrontal cortex, the front part of the body, the head, it is called the thinking mind. Then we have a doing mind. There is a being mind. Thinking, doing, and being. So you do think means conscious, and continuously to do, thinking, doing mind, then being mind, it will be happen. So that's what we'll do. Yoga Shastra also, Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, how to do practice of yoga and bring a change, a personality in my life. That is called Satudrigha Kala, Nairantarya, Satkara, Asabita, Drudha Bhumi. Satudrigha Kala, Nairantarya, Satudrigha Kala, for a long time. Nairantarya, every day. Satudrigha Kala, Nairantarya, Satkara, Asabita, Drudha Bhumi, completely firm. Then if I'll do practice, sure, I can bring a change on my personality. Means if I will be suggest you will be go through, most of the people they says, why not what is called the bhakti? Doing bhajan kirtan, can I bring change? By doing the prayer, can you do the change? Yes, please go through a very scientific invention is called the DNA phantom effect. And physics, you know that the DNA phantom effect, they brought a jar and they find out what is exactly inside the jar. They find out nothing is in the jar. They told what means nothing. What is there? There is nothing. That means there is some light particle, photon particles, and scattered here and there in the jar. So they remove, they find out they injected a DNA within the jar, and they find out the photon particles that are scattered here and there, it becomes sequence. It becomes sequence. After some time, they remove DNA, but the sequence of the photon particles, it maintained for a longer period of time. When the sequence maintained, but the DNA was not present on the jar. It's called DNA phantom effect. So most of the time, what we think that, suppose my child is very naughty or is not listening, we want to make them to calm down or settle down. We take a stick or we scold or give some punishment to settle down. Instead of that, why not you go for the meditation? Because you are genetically connected. When you will do meditation, so your genes, when sequence, energy sequence, your child's energy also will be sequenced. It's called DNA phantom effect. So if you do meditation here, if your child is in USA or some part of the country, it can be settled down. And this is the effect of the prayer. With heartfully, when you do a prayer, surrender, calm down, doing bhajan or japa or something, you will calm down, settle down your physical body, automatically your relatives, you can do it. So it is scientifically proved. A lot of research is also happening. That is called the participatory universe. So when you do good things here, you can contribute to the whole society. When a group of people do meditation, they can bring a change of the complete locality. You can go through the physics, some of the research in the participatory universe. So there's a lot of research is happening. It's eye-opening to all of us. And we should go through the depth of the research is happening in the field of yoga, meditation and all. And we'll get the benefit and do practice every day. So today's topic was very interesting. All the fours are related: the physical body, the mind, psychology, and yoga. So it is a practical sense. We have to do it. So then we can bring an experience in our life. I will just quotation or give a one nice story. What is the manifestation of prana? As I told you, one of the bhakti yoga aspect in the DNA phantom effect. And I told you this aspect of this, how the Joe Dispenza, he did meditation and come back to this field of the practice of doing meditation without surgery. He become work and he is able to work without any surgery. It's possible. It's called we are the placebo, the mind over the matter. Your whole mind is a laboratory of creating a lot of chemicals. So there is no need to take an outside chemical and to be curing yourself. Your thought power is that much power you have. By controlling that thought power, you can bring any change, whatever you want to do this. As an example is given that during the Second World War, there is a good number of painkiller was not available. So to give the medicine to the people, the wounded soldier. So what they did, they find out that there is no painkiller to give injection to the soldier. So they injected this distillated water in the injection and injected to the soldier, and they were not feeling any pain. So pain was relieved. So the doctor asked the nurse, what you are doing? There is no availability of the painkiller. So what you did? They told nothing. We have brought the distillated water and injected on this syringe and injected to them and cured. It's called a placebo. Because when you think that is the painkiller I'm taking, and your the whole mind is in the laboratory, it creates that type of chemical and it will cure you. So a good number of research is happening on the placebo also. So that can be, we can bring, it is a placebo, but we can create that power through the yogic technique of practice, like pranayama, meditation, and yogasana, and we can activate that brain power, and through that our nervous system and the blood circulation system create all these things. Whatever changes we want, we can do it. So that is the miraculous mind we have, all of us we have. That's what we should use it. I'll just give a very nice story and conclude my talk. Samarth Ramdas. Samarth Ramdas, on his life, there is a mission. He was going 5 houses for begging, and he'll go to one of the house and ask, Ram, Samarth hai, you are capable to give food to me. So if the householder giving food to him, he was taking that food and he will go. If he will not get in the 5 house any food from any 5 house, he will do fasting or upavasa he was doing that day. So one day he came to one house and begging Ram Samarth hai. The housewife gave some food to him, and when he was eating, the housewife asked, "Can you give some advice to me so that I can bring some change on my life?" Then Samarth Ramdas smiled and went back. After few months, again he came to the same house and asked, "Can you give Ram Samarth hai?" Housewife came with food, but he find out the begging bowl is full of dirt, cow dung. Then the housewife told to the Samarth Ramdas, "Can you give me the pot? I will clean and give you food so that you can take. Or you clean the pot, begging bowl, and give me, I will give food." Samarth Ramdas smiled and went back. Did not took food. After a few months, again Samarth Ramdas came to the same house, asked Ram Samarth hai. Housewife came with food to give, and she was little bit curious whether this pot, the begging bowl, is clean or not. And he find out it's clean. She gave food to Samarth Ramdas. Samarth Ramdas was taking food. And again the housewife asked, "Can you give some advice to me?" Then Samarth Ramdas told, "I have already given to you advice." Told what? The second time you have not given food to me. Like, yes. Why? Because your begging bowl was full of cow dung. So why you are not giving? Because if I could give that food to you, you could not have to eat it. So that's what you suggest, to either clean or give me, I have to clean. The similar way, we maybe take a lot of information, lot of good thoughts, or read a book. Once it will not do practice or cleaning or saucha, that's what we cannot make it. That's what in Patanjali Raja Yoga is called Yama Niyama. In the 5 niyamas, saucha, santosa, tapa, swadhyaya, ishvara, pranidhanani. All the 5. Sauchas is the first, saucha, cleanliness. Cleanliness, the physical body, cleanliness, the prana, cleanliness of the mind. If we do it properly, we can bring a change of the personality. And if one person can be changed in the house, and he have that much of power to bring a change in the whole family also, and the whole family change, you can bring a change in the whole society, and the whole country can be changed. It's depend upon how I will be. And not only just take an information and to implementation and do the practice and bring a change the whole life. That's what our Shastra was telling, the Pancha Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda, to become happy. As Madam was telling that, we should all of us to happy. Our core is to be happy. Ananda. There is no duality in Ananda, but happy, if the opposite is called Sora. Sora. Like in, it is a duality, the plurality. If everything, there is opposite. Sukha, there is a Dukha. That, but Ananda, there is not opposite. Because that is the core. There is no opposite of Ananda. There is no opposite word of Ananda. That was Ananda is the divinity. We have to get it. Because anything you will find out, its opposite word is there. But in Ananda, there is no opposite word. So the core thing is the Ananda. That's what the modern physical, modern science is telling, or modern medical science is telling, psycho, neuro, immunophysiology. The whole personality depends upon the psycho, neuro, immunophysiology. Shastra is telling, Manomaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. That's what we have to bring an integration, the purification in all the koshas, all the body, bring a change in my personality in the subconscious mind and conscious mind, and bring a personality changes so that we can bring the whole changes. So that's the nice topic, and the psychology and yoga and body and mind. So let us, all of us, to take an initiative that to do practice all the 4 yoga. I'm not initiating to that to do only the Raja Yoga, Asana, Pranayama, even Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, reading good books, Swadhyaya, and also Karma Yoga, the right way of action, so that we can bring a change. Thank you very much, giving some time to me to share my thought with you. And it's a good, and celebrating Professor Radhanath Rath's birth centenary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ravindra Acharya from AIMS in New Delhi, talking about a lot of things with reference to the interrelationship between physiology, psychology, philosophy, and biology, and also trying to map the current context of COVID, which talks about immunity, as immunity is not just about biological immunity, but as well psychological immunity also. And in the event of birth centenary event of Professor Rath's, we at the CORD, Center for Adivasi Research and Development, we are immensely pleased to have you, sir, Professor Ravindra Acharya from AIMS. And while thanking you, I hereby invite Dr. R.K. Biswal, Assistant Professor from NIT Roorkela, to give his concluding remarks as a rapporteur.
Sir, sorry for interrupt you, Professor Jaiswal in airport. He connected with us, and I'm really sorry to Dr. Biswal as well.
Okay.
I would like to, sir, please invite Professor Jaiswal. I am Director Samalpur.
Okay. Good evening, Professor Jaiswal. You have been very busy traveling, and we thank you from bottom of the heart that you have found some time to log in. So I
आपको रूम रे मीटिंग करू छी बना ऑनलाइन मीटिंग हां मु पठे दिल जंग बना
या प्रोफेसर
बना नॉल आपन सकाळे प्रोग्राम को फ्लॉप कर देबे आगे
Good evening.
Yes, Professor Jaiswal.
And I'm sorry, I'm in transit. So, but thanks Card and Vikram and team to organize this and inviting me, and on a very special theme, the natural and yoga, etc. I know a lot of people have spoken on this. What I have to say is that in today's world, when we have seen the kind of a pandemic which is actually creating chaos, we have to learn how to live with this, and in that there's a two way of living life. One is enlightened life, and second is luxury life. Enlightened life has got 4 characteristics. The first characteristic is that you have to live with less materials which are artificial. You have to live with more natural materials like forest, environment, and those things. So that is the first characteristic of enlightened life. With the luxury life, you are full of materials, all surroundings, and therefore you're burdened with the materials. You not only burden yourself, you also burden the environment when you create so many materials. You know, I am from a business school, but still I am talking the way how the enlightened life is. The second characteristic is that you should have your healthy eatings. Like what should you eat? You should eat more natural products, not artificially created products. So that is the second characteristic of enlightened life. Third characteristic that you have to also keep your like human beings are basically a moving animals. Like you should not be sitting all the time. You should keep moving. Yoga is one way of making your body fit, but naturopathy, like how do you keep surrounding and walking all the time? You should be less sitting in the table and chair or whatever office. So that is the third characteristic. The fourth one is you have to live with people who are similar to you, like who are also following these characteristics. So if you follow these 4 characteristics, you live the enlightened life as compared to luxury life. I think that is what the nature wants now, and that is what we have to learn, and that is what we have to propagate. And we have to see that how nature and human both coexist in this, and same time we create innovation surroundings, we create inclusive society, and we live all animals and humans of different kinds together. There should not be disparity. So that is where I think we have to learn a lot from the life of tribes all over the world. They are more close to nature, they are more enlightened, and which we in the civilized world feel that, we have seen that they use less clothes, they use less food, they use less materials, and that is how the life is all about. I think if you really want the planet to survive for long, that is the lifestyle we have to adopt. And then I think you will find your thought process, your entire way of living will be very, very different, and it will create a sustainable society. And today we are struggling to make sustainable economy, and that is, I think, the fundamental principle is we must live the enlightened life. This is what I have to say. I think a lot of thought has already gone into this debate, and I may connect some other time. And right now I'm really on a transit, so I thought let me just say whatever I feel, which is close to the topic of this debate. Thank you very much again to Pad, and my best wishes to everyone who are part of this. It's a great job being done by Pad, and I think we all are there to support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jaiswal. And now I invite Dr. Biswal from NIT Roorkela, the rapporteur for today's program, to take over this session.
Good evening and namaste to all present here. I am grateful that today I have been given an opportunity to become the rapporteur of this session, where we are celebrating the birth centenary of Professor Radhanath Rath, very famously known as Dr. Rath. Being a student of psychology, I have heard this Dr. Rath from many of my teachers. They hardly call Professor Rath. So that's how he is famous as Dr. Rath. Now today's topic is need of the hour to think through body and mind, psychology and yoga. In this period, when we talk about mind-body connection, and when you talk about health and disease, we just can't ignore the mind without body, body without mind. So very apt topic taken by Card Odisha. I am thankful to Dr. Bikram Jena for inviting me to this occasion. And I also would like to share some of my experiences with the thought that Dr. Rath or Professor Rath used to have and practice in his life. Positivity. Yes, positivity has its own significance in our lives. And it has also worked for me, and I am sure that all of you have experienced it in your lives also. Now, we had speakers, Professor Sangeeta Rath, who is the daughter of Professor Radhanath Rath. In the morning, we had a offline meeting by Sahitya Academy. I was there, and now in this online meeting, I'm attending. And she, being a very fortunate one, being the daughter as well as a psychologist, she had more of a chance to be with this legendary figure. And she is also an ardent follower of the philosophy that Professor Rath believes in. With this, she has emphasized on how placebos affect and how mind-body are connected. When you talk about biomedical model of disease and psychological model of disease, and now we have found that psychological model of disease is more prominent, is giving better results. And feeling happy is more important than not feeling sad. So the kind of orientation, the kind of change in perspective that we are talking now is the kind of lifestyle that Professor Rath has lived. When we talk about gratitude as a therapy, positive thinking. And when we believe that opportunities are created, then we are doing psychology in its true sense. So there is much to offer to the society, to individuals' well-being from a psychological perspective, or the knowledge that we have gained from years of research in psychology for the development of the society as well as for the individual. But often something which is invisible, that is not taken very seriously unless and until the effect is shown. Coronavirus is not seen to us, but we know the kind of impact it had on all of us for last 2 years. There are power in something which is invisible. Our beliefs, they are not visible. Our actions are visible, but your actions are guided by the beliefs. So when we talk about the results, we must talk about the beliefs, positive beliefs that we harbor. In Professor Ravindra Acharya's talk, we have got an idea how yoga connects mind and body and makes the mind free. We talk about mindfulness these days, often a topic of research. When we talk about mindfulness, we are not talking something very new, which is developed recently. In the yogic practices, we are doing that mindfulness. And at the same time, mindfulness is not something which is a very mechanical aspect. I like something, I'm engrossed in doing that activity for a longer period of time without having any pain, without having any problem. I am doing meditation. I am in yoga. I am adding to my work. Professor Acharya has also talked about psychoneuroimmunophysiology and DNA phantom effect. Well, with these new kind of discoveries, there is ample scope for the students of psychology to work in areas which they have never worked, or maybe they find that there is not enough scope in integrative medicine. Now we have Ayush centers opened in different parts of the country, so wherein students of psychology can work as a researcher, and also all the yogic practices that we are talking about, we can work in these lines, psychoneuroimmunophysiology. Professor Jaiswal has also emphasized on the natural ways of lifestyle. Well, there is a very interesting aspect of our lives that it has connections with animals' lives. Whereas animals do not suffer from depression, animals do not suffer from BP, animals do not suffer from diabetes, all the lifestyle diseases. Why do human beings suffer from all these diseases? Well, because they are connected to nature and we are avoiding nature. We try to develop a system which we think, we perceive that this gives us safety, but at the same time, we get more of problems in terms of physical health issues or psychological health issues. I think lifestyle, yogic practices, and positivity, that will give us a direction how to lead a life which is full of happiness. On this occasion, I thank CARD Odisha for inviting me to speak few words and being the rapporteur of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Biswal from NIT Roorkela. And of course, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, the director of IIM Sambalpur, who joined us of late, though he was on transit, for giving his concluding remarks of the session. Professor Sangeeta Rath, the daughter of Professor Rath himself, who has given introductory remarks about the talk and also about the life of Professor Rath. And Professor Ravindra Acharya from AIMS New Delhi, who has spoken about the amalgamation between mind, soul, and the body, talking about a number of disciplines: physiology, psychology, philosophy, biology, and also immunology, and a very interesting interface in the context of COVID itself. And rapporteur, Dr. R.K. Biswal, who has very nicely reported the entire program from NIT Roorkela. With this, I would like to invite Dr. P.C. Das, Assistant Professor of Education from Revansha University, Cuttack, for vote of thanks. Before I invite Dr. Das, I warmly thank the Center for Adivasi Research and Development Odisha for organizing this kind of a multidisciplinary program by inviting the very important and widely accustomed scholars, accomplished scholars on the program. Dr. B.C. Das, over to you.
Yeah, this is time for formal vote of thanks. Esteemed Chairperson Professor Srinivaslu, Honorable Chief Guest Professor Mahadev Jaiswalji, Honorable Speaker Professor Ravindra Acharyaji, esteemed Madam Professor Sangeeta Rath, Madam, my dear colleague Dr. R.K. Biswalji, Dr. Vikram, Director CARD, Rudra Narayan, Executive Director CARD, and team members and distinguished participants. So it is a proud privilege for me to be connected with this virtual session. Today's virtual session is dedicated to esteemed thought leader, Professor Dr. Radhanath Rath. Let me pay homage to this great thought leader, a globally renowned psychologist, a legend of teaching and research in the field of psychology and philosophy, and a behavioral scientist. Professor Radhanath Rath was a distinguished academic and institution builder, an iconic figure of psychology not only in Odisha, in India and abroad. Credit goes to him in starting UG and PG courses in psychology in Odisha. The veteran professor served the premier institutions of higher learning in Odisha, like Ravensa and Utkal University, for a significant years of his life. As an educationist, a true researcher, and a prolific writer of both psychology and the literature, he was unmatched by his contemporary intellectuals. Professionally, we may call him a Shatabdi Purusha, and personally or biologically a Shatayu Purusha. Such a great person always commands respect from his followers, and Center for Adivasi Research and Development is proud of having an organization, a virtual organization of a talk in memory of this great leader. First of all, proposing a vote of thanks, I must thank to Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal. Professor Mahadev Jaiswal is the founding director of IIM and an intellectual of international fame. He has been a constant inspiration, a philosopher, a guide, a patron of World Human Sciences and Management Conference, organized by Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Odisha. Professor Jaiswal uh, an internationalized renowned scientist, a visiting professor of many global universities, a product of MIT, a constant researcher, Fulbright Fellow, an innovator in science and management, a pioneer of flipped classroom blended learning pedagogy in India. So he has, sir, we are very much proud of you, and you have illuminated, you have enlightened us how to get rid of how to get rid of luxury life. So we are very much proud of you for your kind presence and inspiration in this virtual gathering. Honorable Speaker, the main attraction of this session, Professor Ravindra Acharya, CIMR, AIMS New Delhi. We are, sir, we are very much privileged to listen to you. Being a medical practitioner, medical professional, you have ample knowledge in yoga and meditation, what we have witnessed today. Really, your ideas relating to the topic, need of the hour to think through body and mind, psychology and yoga, have enlightened us in many concepts like mind over the matter, meditation practice and its impact on lifestyle, yoga and its vibrant dimensions, what I am, what type of thoughts I emanate, mano, buddhi, chitta, ahamkar, physical body, subconscious and conscious mind, purification of mind, a continuous process necessary for growth and development, control of mind, chitta vritti, nirodha, thought power and practices, leading to the complete transformation and the bliss, ananda in life and society. So, sir, we are very much proud of you for these ideas you have uh, inculcated among the distinguished participants. Coming to the other attraction of the session, esteemed Madam Professor Sangeeta Rath, who was the former chairperson, Council of Deans at Ravensa University, a veteran professor of psychology, honorable member, Odisha Public Service Commission. She is the worthy daughter of a worthy father who have excelled who have excelled par at excellence in both professional and professional life and practices. Madam, we have read many interesting and motivating write-ups of your time from your pen. That is Mano va Sarira Bhinna Athava Abhinna. Very motivating article we have read. And another book you have written, Manara Vaigyanika Paribhasa. So these are very attractive write-ups for the current readers. Madam, you have been a constant inspiration for Center for Adivasi Research and Development. Always you have been a constant inspiration to your students, colleagues and followers. On behalf of CARD, we appreciate your kind presence and extend our vote of thanks for your active life and inspiration to society at large. Our vote of thanks, since Professor Srinivasulu is the part of the organization, and still we propose our vote of thanks for his presence, for his pens in chairing the session for this great cause. And we are also thankful to Dr. R.K. Biswal, Director, Dr. Vikram Jena, Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Rudranarayan, Executive Director, and all the distinguished participants from different parts of Odisha and other places. We are very much thankful for the success of this organization, to the patrons and our team. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Das. Thank you all the participants. Thanks to all the dignitaries who have made this program possible. Thanks to Center for Adivasi Research and Development. Long live CARD Odisha. Thank you. Thank you one and all.